There is an unalterable law governing everything and every being that exists or lives. I may not deny the law or the lawgiver because I know so little about it or him. God, to be God, must rule the heart and transform it. It is proved in the transformed conduct and character of those who have felt the real presence of God within.
Born into an ancient and mystical land, Mohandas K. Ghandi saw his life as a search for ultimate truths, constantly evolving, seeking alternate ways of thinking and living. He called his autobiography the story of my experiments with truth. His long journey of self-transformation began in 1869 from this middle-class house in the Indian port city of Porbandar. Gandhi coined the term satyagraha, a combination of two Sanskrit words meaning truth and the pursuit of, to describe his revolutionary concept. The goal of nonviolence was as old as human philosophy. Gandhi's insight was to apply the ideal to practical political situations. Gandhi had proved that willpower could overcome brute force. Eager to challenge England on his home ground, in 1915, at age 45, he returned to an India strangling under the yoke of imperialism. For 2 centuries, the British had systematically plundered India's natural resources. Deprived of raw material, native industries withered away. India was the largest, most populous, and most profitable outpost in the empire. In 1930, at age 61, he unveiled a bold new plan to rebel against attacks many found unjust: the British levy on salt. It was illegal for Indians to make or sell salt. That lucrative franchise was reserved for foreigners. To dramatize the revolt, he planned to march 240 miles to the Arabian Sea and there make salt. His colleagues in the Indian National Congress begged him to reconsider, convinced that his scheme would fail. The governing British were equally confident that their old nemesis was courting ridicule. On March 12th, he set off with 80 followers on a journey that would capture the conscience of the world and change the course of history. Gandhi's 1930 Salt March covered just 10 miles a day, allowing interest to build and giving foreign reporters time to come to India and cover the spectacle firsthand.
So for 24 days, passing through thousands of villages, creating an enormous political theater. And as soon as the news spread, not only the whole of India was emotionally and intellectually engaged, but the whole world. Large number of American news reporters said, "This is incredible."
By the time he gets to the seashore on April 6th, there are hundreds of thousands of Indians with him. And when he reaches down and picks up that handful of salt and says, "With this salt, I resist the might of the British Empire. Join me in this struggle of right against might."
The response was electric. Across the country, merchants, farmers, and housewives openly made and sold salt. Thousands were jailed, including Ghandi. Police brutally clubbed protesters, further enraging and unifying the Indian people. Gandhi knew that nonviolent resistance requires its followers to show their courage, thus appealing to the best in human nature. He had taught Indians to rebel against their oppressors and against themselves. Under intense international pressure, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, released Gandhi and invited him to negotiate. Gandhi went directly from prison to the Viceroy's palace, an honored guest of sorts.
So they gave him a glass of warm water, which is what he had asked for, and he put it down on the table and quietly took out something from his loincloth. And the curious Viceroy said, "What is it?" He said, "Your Excellency, don't tell this to anybody. It is the salt that I have illegally manufactured." He quietly put it in water, stirred it, and drank it.
The next year, Gandhi journeyed to London for a conference on India's future. As always, he traveled third class and performed his daily disciplines. In London, he created a public relations bonanza, staying with the poor in the East End, winning affection wherever he went. Children followed him, shouting, "Gandhi, where's your trousers?"
You are going to tell the other children that I love you all as my own children. That's all I want to say.
Invited to Buckingham Palace for royal tea, he was criticized for appearing before the king in a loincloth. "The king," replied Gandhi, "was wearing enough for both of us." Back home in India, he spread his message through daily prayer meetings.
I am going to request the Father of our nation, the Apostle of love and truth and non-violence, to give us his benediction.
It is complete independence that we want.
On August 14th, 1947, Indians celebrated their independence. Gandhi, seeing the growing rift between Hindu and Muslim, asked a friend, "Why do they rejoice? I see only rivers of blood."
And he said, "I'm going to go on a hunger strike until this stops, until Hindus and Muslims become brothers again." There was so much anger among the refugees that there were large demonstrations saying, "To hell with Gandhi, let Gandhi die, let Gandhi die, to hell with him." The second day, there was a very timid counter-demonstration. And the third day, the counter-demonstration got bigger and the anti-Gandhi demonstration got smaller. And on the fourth day, the same trend continued until finally the streets were thronged with people cheering for Gandhi. And after a week, Muslims could walk the streets of Delhi in perfect safety.
Gandhi's hunger strike rescued New Delhi. But at the India-Pakistan border, civil war raged on. He embarked upon a pilgrimage of peace across his hate-torn land, walking barefoot from village to ravaged village, enduring angry mobs, thorns thrown in his path, rising at 4 each morning to struggle against the tide of fear and bloodshed. On January 30th, 1948, the 78-year-old Gandhi walked to his daily prayer meeting in the garden of Birla House in New Delhi. From among the crowd, a young Hindu man emerged, bowed to Gandhi, and shot him 3 times. In the instant before death took him, Gandhi murmured, "Rama," the Indian word for God.
In the midst of death, life persists. In the midst of untruth, truth persists. In the midst of darkness, light persists. Hence I gather that God is life, truth, light. He is love. He is the supreme good.